Hello, everyone. Bob Carr with another episode of the Bob Carr Show. Today, I got a very, very special guest in the studio. It's hard to get a hold of this guy to get him come in. He's very, very busy in a whole lot of different things. And John Maloney's in. John, welcome.
Thank you, Bob. Good to see you.
Appreciate you coming in today. Funny story, John and I met probably back, 2010, John?
Yes, I think so.
And it's been a great partnership. We've done a lot of great things together. And you make this thing go. And I look up to you for all you do and all you put up with, besides everything else you got going on in your life. Sure. So, John, I'm doing all the talking. Come on, John. Tell us a little bit all the things that you do.
Well, let me thank you for being here, number one. And when we look at the flag program, it basically started in 1990. There was somewhat of a contentious election in Crofton, and Ed Dosick, who was a former brigadier general, an Army individual, lawyer in the Army, basically became president, and I was his vice president. So that started a relationship with him. He wanted to do something patriotic in Crofton at that time. And he came up with the idea of putting flags on the BG&E poles.
So that came from Ed himself?
Exactly.
I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Ed Dosick, and on the board at the time that was elected with myself, Ed, was Pete Peterson, who basically was a director of the Civic Association.
Okay.
He was retired. He was a good friend of Ed's, and Ed kind of passed off the, hey, Ed, Pete, would you mind taking care of the flags? And that's how that whole, exactly.
Okay.
So here I am in the background, and had been until I rejoined Kiwanis in 2010. And when I did, specifically wanted to be on the flag program. And the flag program here.
Because you knew all about it.
Oh, yeah.
But guys like myself who had been around that long, and you were already a chapter ahead and knew what was going on.
Exactly. And was all for it back then. So specifically wanted to get involved because Pete he did it for 20 years and continued. So Pete and I worked for a couple of years together on it. He got, me going with it. And the parkway itself is about 4 miles a circle. And on that parkway are 76 BG&E poles.
Right.
So each pole has 2 flags. Generally, they're American flags, with the exception of those streets that intersect out of Crofton.
Gotcha.
And they share a U.S. American flag with a Maryland flag.
Gotcha.
So there's a combination of both. So a total of 156 flags go up every May. In many cases, thanks to your group, they do a great job. And they fly all summer into the fall, and right after Veterans Day on November 11th, they come down. And for the winter, we store them. We take inventory of what we have, what flags are still available to fly again that aren't torn or faded too much. And then we buy additional supplies, and then another May, next month, we're going to put the flags back up, and Old Glory is going to fly again. The Boy Scouts are involved primarily when we take the flags down. They retire them, and they have a special ceremony that they do to retire those flags. So that's great. We did, from time to time, have some of the Scouts help assemble the flags, poles on the flags on the poles. And at one time, we had a Boy Scout completed an Eagle project, became an Eagle Scout by working with the flags. And what he basically did was shellacked all the poles, cleaned them all up, made sure all the flags were together. He documented all the poles that they go on, where they were, the addresses, the pole number, and all of that became part of his project. And he earned an award for that. So
I gotcha.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize, though, that this money is all donated.
It is, correct.
Our services, meaning my guys, my company, we donate our time to put them up, take them down with the bucket trucks from other vendors that are good friends and good partners with us in your time. And sometimes I've seen you use different Boy Scout troops to help, right?
We have.
But all that's volunteer. All of us is volunteer.
Correct.
So people don't realize that when flags get tore up and all, we've got to replace them.
Correct.
And we've got to raise money for that.
We've had a nice balance, if you will, in the fund. Over the last couple of years, it's gone down, and we're at the point of we'll need to get some additional funds and do some additional fundraising so we can keep that program going.
Okay, so we need to let everybody know inside the Triangle of Crofton if we can raise some money to pay for new flags, new bands.
We worked with the Living in the Triangle group.
Okay.
The magazine, they've done some fundraising, if you will, or made notice that we needed additional funds. And the Kiwanis, they have our fund is a separate fund solely for the use of the flags. So as we get money and donations for that, it remains in that account until we need it.
So if someone is viewing this or has a need, a patriotic or retired, and they want to help by writing a check, and we're not trying to solicit that, either one of us today, but people do ask me all the time, hey Bob, I love to help, what can I do? I never know where to send that person or their check. Should they send that to Town Hall, send it to Kiwanis Attention U?
Yeah, we have a separate post office box that
Where
they
that?
could send it to. It's probably the best way to.
Because there is a lot of people around that can't physically get up on poles, can't come out with us. People do sometimes come out and want to help, but there's also people that would like to write a check for $100 to help us.
Sure.
And you get several of those $100 coming at you. That could buy a lot of flags and help us support this. Because, like I said, you and I and our groups and organizations all volunteer this.
That's it. Yep.
So I look forward to many more years of doing this with you, John, because this is a great cause, and it's great today that you took a couple minutes. I know you're super busy, and to come over and chat with us a couple minutes.
Well, you're quite welcome, and we always enjoy your support with regard to our partnership, and
it's been a good partnership over the years.
It's worked out well.
It's just funny how it started. I remember the first it was like it was yesterday, where I was like, who in the world is this guy? And I'm going to find out all your background, and now I'm finding out even more.
Yeah.
So it's been a great partnership, and I enjoy working with you, John.
Thank you very much, and I the same. Thank you, Bob.
This wraps up another episode of the Bob Carr Show. Tune in next week for another episode. Thanks for watching this episode of the Bob Carr Show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you next week with a new episode of the Bob Carr Show. Talk to you soon.